I looked at a lot of Barnawall's games, and on the surface, while it looks like he knows how to play Terra Mystica, I'm not quite convinced. Sometimes it looks like he's playing hexagonal tic-tac-toe and just trying to get his structures in a line. Sometimes it looks like he thinks it's Hungry Hungry Hippos and he just needs all the white pieces in order to win, and he just has no coins and a ton of workers.
Everything that Rainier said about me is right. I don't know if Terra Mystica is Hungry Hungry Hippos. I get them confused a lot.
I was very tempted by that, but ultimately there's one player who picks coin towns at a rate 4 times higher than I do, and power towns at a rate 5 times higher than I do. If you're taking them that often, I don't really trust you, and so the pick here has to be J-Stu.
Either is picking somebody and then, give me all this motivation now. I'm going to win this game and I'm going to take 2 coin towns and 2 power towns. I already had in mind who I was going to pick ahead of time. This person, I played with them in one of the qualifying games and then they added me as a friend right after, so I'm going to go with Green Ray.
I have chosen poorly.
I had no idea that adding someone as a friend on Board Game Arena was going to get me selected earlier in the Fire 2 tournament.
Both beat me in qualifier games, so I'm just hoping you can't beat me 2 games in a row.
I mean, I don't know that I can really support that logic, but it got us to where we are, so there we are. Well, with my pick, I'm going to pick Barnwell.
I don't know if I should be flattered or insulted that I'm being picked last.
Hello everyone, welcome to this Group A of the Fire 2 Open Best Terra Mystica tournament on the planet. That set up the table very nicely. I'm Zoras here, together with Claybo. How are you, Claybo?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing very good, very excited for this matchup. I think it's the most intriguing matchup for round 1 in this tournament. We have Rainier, who's a superstar in terms of BGA's community, and this Green Rain, who has been a very, very proficient Terra Mystica players on Snellman. So very intrigued to see how he will do on this matchup. And we have two wild card, 2 people that I have difficulty to assess where they stand for exactly. And I'm really looking forward to how they will do. So JCD and Barnwell.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be interesting for sure.
All right, so we have here Rainier. We see that his favorite faction are Witches, Chaos Magician, and Swarmlings. So what's your thought on Rainier? Do you think he has what it takes to win this group?
I mean, there's no question Rainier has what it takes to win this group. Rainier can pretty much win in any group. I mean, he's extremely strong, but his strength is he plays super high econ games, and not a lot of people can play that, and he just sort of dominates in terms of how many actions he's taking, and he just blows people out of the water with his point production in that aspect. So we'll see if anybody wants to contest him in that game, or maybe Ryan's been practicing for another style to combat that type of play. But yeah, I think Ryan probably has the best chance of winning this group, but we'll see.
Yeah, he has been struggling for the Fire 2 tournament, but now that NerdCube is not in his way, I think he has a very good shot at it. We see here GCD you prefer Darklings, Engineers, and Swarm and Witches. Do you think he has what it takes to pull up an upset in this one?
It's kind of tricky. I mean, Ryan wanted J-Stu in here because, he loves the coin towns and the power towns, which Ryan thinks is weak, but maybe that's the type of moves that it's going to take to beat out Ryan. I haven't played with J-Stu. I'm not really familiar with his game style, but I mean, seeing that his top 3 factions are Darklings, Engineers, and Witches, that tells me that he's the type of player who likes to play factions who are extremely good at doing a lot of things, which is also Rainier's game. So maybe he's like a poor man's Rainier. But I mean, again, I have no idea. I don't really know too much about Jace. We'll definitely see what he's got in the cards tonight.
Interesting. Grain Rango, I'm not sure how to pronounce the last part of his name, but again, a player on Snellman for a long time. He's been, we have here in the description that he's arguably the best player in the USA, so that's probably pointing
That's
to
got to mean
Rainier.
something.
Yeah. New to the Fire 2 season, and we all wonder how we will do in live play. What's your thought on that?
Well, it says here he claims to have a pocket halfling strategy, so maybe he's going to try and pull that one out today. And you said earlier today to me that he's an Orin specialist. Do you think
Absolutely.
that actually has anything to... Yeah, so you think that's going to be
In
something that he might play for?
It's possible. In Auction World, it's not the best faction. It's the faction that you can play better than anyone else. And I think he may have an edge with Orin in this week.
Gotcha.
And now we have Barnwell. We've seen the trash talk that I think one of the best trash talk we've seen from Rainier in this initial round. I think Barnwell reacted perfectly to it. I'm very, very curious to see how he's going to play in this one, if he's going to get motivated by that.
Yeah, Barnwell to me he's another mystery. Like, I'm not really sure what his game style is, but I mean, looking at his ELO on BGA, I think he's like above 620 or something super crazy, top 10 ELO. So he definitely knows what he's doing. So I'm interested to see his type of game today.
Yeah, I'm super intrigued to see how he will do too.
I think also looking at the preferred factions, most everybody put witches. I don't know if that means they'll want to play witches or not want to play witches, but it's always fun to see people who have top three factions paired, and when they duke it out, it's always fun.
Yeah, maybe another reason to put RN in. We'll see.
That's a good point.
All right, so we have here the tournament, how it has been going up to now. Congratulations for your qualification on your match. I think it was a very interesting game, very cool game. And we see that today it's the group E that we have in this one, and that will complete the bracket for the Fire Division.
Yeah, another thing to point out today is everyone pretty much has a chance of advancing except fourth place. First place obviously automatically moves in to the division finals. They'll take that third spot. And then whoever gets second place also is going to move into the second place game, where everybody who got second place is going to play another game and get another chance at it. And then if the third place for today is the highest third place percentage, which production is going to figure out how all that works, they also are going to be in the asterisk box, which is closest third place. So everyone pretty, or at least seemingly everyone is, has a good chance of advancing almost. So if we can see a high scoring game, that means a lot of good things will be happening for these guys.
It will be interesting to keep track if that implies playing a more conservative play styles for these players. Also, because you don't need to be first to advance.
Right. Very true.
All right, so we're just about to start. Just before starting, I think it's important to mention the International Clash tournament that is coming up, organized again by the same organization, the Fire 2 Open. It's gonna be, the registration are due to Sunday, so if you're interested to subscribe, then you should go on Board Game Geek and check the post there. There's all the information. Shortly afterward, there will be a vote to decide on who's gonna represent each region. So 5 regions will be competing: Canada, America, South America, Asia, and Europe. I don't know about you, Claybo, but I'm super excited about this tournament.
Yeah, I mean it's a team tournament for Terra Mystica. I think that's the first time I've ever heard of that. Which I don't think there is one before this. So it brings a whole another element to the game of Terra Mystica, which is really cool. It just keeps growing the community. But yeah, it looks like we got the game up. So
All right.
I'll let you go ahead and dive in since I think you're the master of analyzing the game scripts for people. And in a game of Terra Mystica, it's really important to understand what type of game it's going to be, just because that can influence how good certain factions are and what type of game you want to play. So I'll let you go and dive into that.
Exactly. So we have here on the track, we see that Mermaid already has been put in a lot of 2 dwelling rounds in round 1 and 2. That means often that factions who can get out a lot of dwellings, who kind of build out more, will be favorized, especially since it's followed up by trading post event and then a town event, which is often equivalent to a trading post event or a big building event. So I can totally understand the choice of mermaids. We also see the pass shipping is there. So interesting to see there's 2 water cult bonus there. So that's also interesting for mermaids. A lot of possibility for them. You can open Dwelling Rush in round 1. You can delay the Dwelling Rush to round 2, try to get a priest in water in round 1. So some interesting options. And we see here that Nomad has been put in by Rainier. What's your thought on that pick?
I mean, it's kind of tough to say how every faction is going to be until all the colors are out, I guess. But just looking at the track, like you said, this is a pretty solid form of the way you want to build your structures for each faction. I mean, dwelling, trading post. By the time you're at round 4, some factions are going to want to build a town, maybe 2, and then you get a temple and trading posts in that 5th and 6th year. But one thing that stands out to me for mermaids and nomads is, I mean, for the base map, those 2 colors, that they love each other. I mean, the synergy between them is incredible. So it sort of boosts their ability to do things on the map when they're playing with each other on the map. So that means whatever the other 2 factions are, they're going to need to be able to account, or they're going to they need a way to make up for that lost synergy that blue and yellow have. So
absolutely,
we'll see.
Absolutely, it set up the game for a high leeching one. So one in which players will be able to build a lot of stuff. That's always exciting to see coming. And we have Darklings, and third Darklings is always a very solid choice. One thing I often ask when I'm reading a track is when I'll be building trading post. So there's kind of an interesting dilemma in this track, I think, is whether you wait until round 3, do you build like as many trading posts in round 3, or do you rather wait for the final round? You have the temple. So if you do it on round 3, probably you don't pick water 1. There's no pass TP bonus, so you cannot rescore on that. Or you kind of delay a little more, try to get your sanctuary maybe in round 4, or wait for round 5 for water 1. So that's going to be interesting to follow up.
Yeah. So looking at the factions, we have mermaids, nomads, darklings, and witches. So across the color wheel, mermaids.
Yeah.
Right. So across the color wheel, mermaids, darklings, and witches are all neighboring one way or another, with mermaids in the middle, so they're sandwiched, which means nomads don't have a color neighbor, so that has to make them pretty strong. I don't know if it, makes them, the second best faction, third best faction, fourth best faction here, but, it definitely helps when you don't have to worry about contesting for your own hexes as much as all the other factions. So, I'm not exactly sure what the evaluation is on the factions here, but that's got to be taken into account when we're going to try and figure out what should be the best or worst faction here.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think Barnwell picking on fourth here. Maybe I wanted to create a little chaos. The kind of expected pick, so you were saying like someone could work well with Darklings, would have been engineers. That's like the classical matchup. Here you have witches, which implies that all of a sudden mermaids, which look at interesting, are now sandwich. It's kind of probably will affect their score a lot. And it's becomes I find this kind of matchup very, very hard to gauge. I mean, at what point does it worth it to go toward mermaids? It's all of a sudden it's a lot less like known path, and you have to think a little more for yourself, not be on autopilot in this one.
Yeah, I guess getting the precise value for each faction is very, very difficult in a matchup like this. Whereas trying to get a ballpark, that's not going to be so hard. Right away, we see Ryan going nomads as well as Green Rain, which to me says that they think that ballpark nomads are just as good as Darklings in this setup. Why would Darklings and nomads be of equal value? I mean, to me, Darklings are able to get on the water step early with their priest that they're going to start out with, which that water cult's going to pay out 3 times. It's going to pay out in the first round with a priest, the third round with a spade, and then later on, priest on the board is 2 coins. So that's really good for Darklings. Darklings also are probably going to get pretty good leech depending on where the dwellings are going to start on the map. And then as for nomads, I mean, maybe these guys are just saying nomads are going to have a really strong game ahead of us. I haven't even started to look at the things to think about that, but there's a lot to look at. I mean, there's the bonus pass tiles, which all the factions are going to get. We're going to have to figure out where the dwellings are going to start. So where should we start?
Yeah, that's so probably if you're Darklings, you're looking to start C1. I would expect that. And have the kind of there might be some kind of a lot of leeching in this area. It will be interesting. So probably mermaids start E4, meaning that nomads dwelling on D3 will receive a lot of leech early on. So that's something interesting to take into account. And if you're witches, you're maybe a little worried to be left out of the leeching party.
Yeah, it seems like witches have 2 things to worry about in this opening. Number one, like you said, missing out on leech. Missing out on leech is huge. This looks like a game where a lot of dwellings could be placed over on the west side of the map. And the other thing that the witches, it's not that they have to worry about, but they have to know, or they have to have a game plan for playing without Earth 1, because being in that 4th seat, you kind of, you hope to get Earth 1, but a lot of times 1st seat, 2nd seat, and 3rd seat just snatch it up right before you. So witches might have a pretty tough game ahead of them if they miss out on the leech, miss out on Earth 1.
Yeah, one thing probably I would look for as witches here is opening with a dwelling rush. I think since you're likely not to get Earth 1 anyway, you can take the shipping bonus, you're in 4th seat, you go for the single spade, take C5. For example, maybe you set up on C4, and well, you can take the shipping bonus, but you can also take the spade and go for priest early on, so that's a possibility, and advance shipping right away. So kind of the idea of using this early round where you're not getting any leech anyway to just spread out on the map, get as many dwelling as you can out, and try to build an economy on that. I think is a likely plan for witches.
Yeah, it's a likely plan, and it's always a pretty strong plan as long as you can leverage the economy of putting out all those dwellings, and then essentially what that does is it sort of depletes all your gold, but there's definitely a path to generate gold in this game. So if witches could have a nice dwelling start and then fuel that early econ boom with a balanced gold game, that could be pretty big for the witches, because witches also want to be building a lot of towns, and this game promotes it, especially in year 4. So that's definitely a solid game plan for witches. The only thing that comes to my mind is, does that put more value on everybody after witches, for instance, darklings, nomads, and mermaids, because the pastiles are just going to be that much better for them? I mean, that's going to leave the spade, the priest, and then the 2 workers big building for everyone else. Do you think that's something to consider, or
that's
not
a good
so
point.
much?
Witches, though, for their dwelling rush, they don't need to get double spades. So they can, rather than take the shipping bonus, it's possible for them to take the spade and go for the priest action straight away. And then you advance shipping and use the spade on c5. So you still can take the spade, and often I find that it's the better play anyway, because you get 2 coins out of the spade, and basically you lose 2 coins compared to the past shipping, the temporary shipping, but then you have permanent 1 shipping, which is pretty interesting. So I will not be surprised that the dwelling rush is executed this way. We see our first bid on witches. I was wondering when it will happen. People have bidden nomads and darklings very heavily until now. And and as we expected, mermaids are still on 30 VP, so they will be the 30 VP faction.
Yeah, it's always difficult playing a color sandwiched faction. I will say though, mermaids, they can do pretty well even in the sandwich. I mean, the fact that they start out with 1 shipping, they're able to grab their hexes pretty fast that they need. And not only that, mermaids have an interesting game where whether they start E4 or D5, they always have the opportunity and chance to put their second dwelling on H4. H4 plays against mermaids. It plays with mermaids at the same time, whether they want to take G3 or H5. So mermaids are definitely in a color sandwich, but mermaids also can dictate kind of the flow of the play in this setup. So I'm not saying mermaids shouldn't be the 30 faction, but watch out if things start getting crazy. I mean, right now, nomads at 15, I guess that's fine. Darklings at 18. I mean, darklings are always good. I'm not going to say no to that. Witches at 3 points away from mermaids. I say we're pretty close to where mermaids are getting taken.
Yeah, and mermaids has the way to start to score with the past shipping in this one. So it's always something to take into account. It makes them a lot better, I think, when it's in the game. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how it evolves. It will be interesting to see about the starting spot also. I didn't thought about H4 for witches, but that's certainly an interesting possibility. And it will be interesting to see how witches answer to that. I mean, would you consider, for example, starting G3 as witches rather than F4? If you're going to advance shipping anyway in random. I mean, that's something maybe to take into account, some interesting possibility.
Yeah, it's really tough. I've actually seen you play a game where you started on G3, but you also didn't start with the temp shipping idea. So maybe they go F4 G3 in some crazy world and decide not to go temp shipping and do some things. But this is a game where the starting spots are very flexible. You don't really have a faction that's like going to start in a specific place like the engineers or sometimes the cultists do. I mean, it's pretty standard where the nomads are going to start, which is D3 and F3. And then that third dwelling, they're going to have some play with. But darklings, I mean, they can pretty much play in like 4 different spots. It's crazy how flexible they are. Witches have some ideas, like we were saying, with whether they're going to play C4, E9, F4, G3. That's some flexibility. And then obviously mermaids, like we were talking about. Call me crazy, but D2, E4, I mean, there's some wild moves for variability starting hexes, which again, once those hexes are taken, that's going to adjust how good a faction is or isn't once the once the bids are in.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we,
D2 is a possibility. It gives you a crazy amount of leech. Then you're starting a little bit cramped. But if you can kind of do the spring strategy and just kind of sink as many leech as you can early on and then develop, that can be an interesting strategy too. So I absolutely agree with you. A lot of possibility here. And maybe to mention another one that I was thinking, it's not as witches you might want to consider doing the stronghold start. I mean, if you start with the shipping bonus, jump on the 2 workers soon, and then you can get 3 more dwellings out after the stronghold. So even if it's a dwelling turn, which gives you points for dwellings, the stronghold ends up giving you more points on a dwelling turn because it gives you 6 than on a stronghold turn. So that's a possibility too. With the stronghold bonus and that will allow you to score. I mean, I would certainly consider it.
yeah, I mean, any game plan that has or involves a stronghold or playing a lot of dwellings or upgrading shipping early, these are all going to be rewarded with the bonus tiles. So definitely witches have the ability to do, any of those really. Darklings definitely could do Sanctuary early if they get enough leech and maybe start with, a favorable tile such as the Sanctuary Stronghold bonus tile. I don't know what Nomad's game plan here is, and then Mermaids obviously can go early shipping anytime. But looking at these bids, where are you at in your head seeing Nomads at 13, Darklings at 18, Witches at 24 points, and then Mermaids? Would you take them at 30 here, or does something need to be continued to be bid down like we've seen?
We are approaching the moment in our auction where I feel like everything is bad. I'm like, I don't want anything at this point. And you feel like Nomads are very strong, but do you want them below 13 points? Because Nomad has no inherent way of scoring, and it kind of ends up putting a lot of pressure on how much you can hit the pass tiles. There's no super good round to do your stronghold for Nomads, so you're not going to need that at some point. When are you going to do it? Darklings, I think, probably are still fine. As you said, they have. I think I really like the game plan that you suggested. Send Priest on water to start. You get an extra Priest, then you have the option for round 2 maybe to go on Dwelling Spree or the Sanctuary, which will always be good. So I think at 18, right now I'm more on Team Darklings. And Witches, I mean, they have this interesting game plan that we've been discussing. There's some question about them. I mean, I can see some variation where they don't even get a neighbor. Say they start on C4, so on the top east island, and they start on the center island. I mean, it's as we've said. So yeah, on F4, thanks. It's possible that they don't get an elite early on. It seems that they are kind of a little vulnerable for same as you suggested. If Mermaids decide to start H4 to me, which just seems to imply kind of a greater risk. But I mean, it's a high risk, high reward faction right now, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm not super sold on Witches here. I mean, I know Witches are generally a really strong faction. They have a really good setup on this map with how easy it is to access a lot of their hexes, especially just with one ship. But yeah, are they getting a lot of early neighbors that they want? Are they going to get the leech? It's really hard to say they will. And even if they do, it's not a whole lot. I mean, their only neighbor, I guess, is going to be on F4 with the Nomads. Um, something happened, but or maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
But
One-
anyways, I can't
yeah.
remember the board, but yeah, I'm not really sure witches have a super strong start. But again, I mean, a dwelling rush is always good. I don't know if it's what's needed to make up for this
Yeah.
8-foot victory point hole that they put themselves in.
All right, so we have our factions here.
So it did start.
Rain got the Darklings at 18. Barnall, in the end, was the one who jumped on Mermaid at 30. Rainier get the Witches, and we have Nomads at 13. So, anything that strikes you in this initial positioning?
It's pretty standard. Well, it's kind of hard to say standard, but like it's pretty expected that Darklings, Nomads, and Mermaids all join up over on the east side of the map, which is C1, D3, E4. Where the leech is going to go is very important, and I would imagine that that's where it's going to go. I think everybody over there, I mean, the first buildings that everybody's going to want to build is a temple. And figuring out where you want your first sanctuary sometimes dictates where you're going to be building first. So it looks like a lot of those factions over on the, I think I've been saying east, but sorry, over on the west side of the map. I think a lot of those factions want their sanctuary over there. So I have to think that's where a lot of these upgrades are going to go. Nomads are trying to figure out, well, they placed their second dwelling on F3, so maybe that's where the leech happens.
Well, Darklings made a super interesting move going B5. And right now we must be not happy at all with this decision, because Nomad is followed up on going to B4. And I think right now it's kind of big win for Nomad in this initial positioning. Darkening just have a lot more difficulty doing their initial town. Witches just lost a town opportunity, and it's a little because they would have liked to do a town on C4, B5, A10, A11. That's one thing they probably had their eyes on. Right now means that they have like this town is gone, the C4, B5, A10, A11, and the E9, F6, G6, H8 town just got a lot harder because you're not getting any neighbor there. So I think probably giving Rain played B5 to kind of be aggressive toward witches, but I don't know if he had expected Nomads to go to B4, which I think is an interesting choice. I mean, it's giving Darklings a lot of problems.
Yeah, when you originally asked me what I thought, if I saw anything weird about these dwelling placements, I didn't even see B5. My eyes don't look over there when I see Darklings placing. So that just tells you that is a very, it's not bizarre, it's not bad, it's just very, okay, you know what? Maybe it is bizarre. I mean, I just don't see it a lot. I'm not saying it's bad at all. You definitely have some play, and you're gonna get something out of it. I don't know what that something is. But.
Yeah, it makes. I mean, that's a move you will see now and then against witches, with the idea that witches will go to C4 one way or the other, so you'll get a neighbor there, and you are blocking his town, and you want to connect to the west. But usually, you see that move when nomads are not, because we see here the drawback of the placing there when nomads are there now. Connection for Darkling is not happening. He's not on. I mean, if you look on the East Island, there's so many cheap hacks for Darklings compared to where he is now. I mean, he has to be a big loser for if you compare to starting G5 or E10, where he has a ton of cheap hexes. That's not the case at all there. And it will be interesting to see how it affects the leeching dynamic early.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to look at Twitch chat now for the first time.
All right.
Also looking at the bonus tiles, witches did take temp ship, so we can expect a big dwelling rush. Third is Darklings took the spade. I definitely am a big fan of that. Although if they get a ton of leech, it would be sad if they miss the chance to get a sanctuary this round.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it's gonna follow up. We see mermaids jumping on the double spades, so he's kind of doing a dwelling rush strategy somehow. And
He's
which
definitely
is
doing a little bit of a dwelling rush. Mermaids also they left the priest and decided to take the power to, go with this double temple strategy and get a bunch of dwellings out. Oh man, I love getting that early bump on water here. They given enough leech, which I don't see it happening, they could still buy a priest and then go up water, but I don't see that happening. So it's almost, I think mermaids are going to worry about the water cult later, which leaves it all for the Darklings. So that's good for Darklings too. I really expected mermaids to go with that game plan.
Yeah. So I wonder, we were wondering what witches will do here. You went with the shipping bonus rather than spade. Again, I wonder how he's feeling about this decision right now. He will have, probably he's hoping to get the spade, because if he doesn't get the spade after this initial digging, I mean, the shipping bonus will have a lot less value for him. He will probably regret not taking the spade bonus if that happens.
Yeah, that would be huge.
So what I'm guessing is
Darklings, I guess, making...
probably going for... I mean, you have to wonder what he's thinking, right? So Green Rain is taking a lot of time. I suppose he is demolishing the position, but he's hesitating maybe on where to upgrades or something. Because he goes for the trading post on C1. I think that's the right move. He has to follow up on nomads. And right now, to me, I kind of like nomads early game. Yeah, so we see Twitches jumping on the spade there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing with nomads here is it looks like he's going to be having everybody build around him. You have the Darklings building next to him. If mermaids want to build a trading post into a temple at some point, they're going to have to, well, they just did. So nomads are just going to get all this leech. They may not buy anything from it this first round, but they may go into the next round just immediately taking a double dig and furthering the economic push, which would be really good. And he took the 6 coins this round. So if he passes early next, he might take the dwelling bonus and he might just score a bunch of points for putting a bunch of dwellings on the board. So, I mean, he's got to make points up somewhere because he started at 13 victory points, and that's going to be a good start to it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's his ideal would be to be able to pass for the shipping bonus, but probably witches will have a very long turn, so I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that. I mean, if you're nomad here, probably you'll have to pass, I think, next turn if you want to secure the double spade for next round.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's going to have a fairly quick round. And what else is he trying to do in this round unless he wants to buy workers and hard dig to place another dwelling? But I don't think that's really worth it. You could also buy a priest and do something with the priest, but I don't know. Nothing seems really juicy right now other than getting that early pass. So
one thing also we have to consider. So we see Green Rain sending his priest to water. There is kind of race on this area of the map between nomads and darklings. So for the D2 E2 square E2 axis, there will be the question of who win the race, mainly to E2. Darklings here, for example, they will get 2 priests for next round with their temple and their cult and come, meaning they have what it takes to get C2 next round. That's might be on his mind. So that's maybe a drawback for nomads if you cannot do your town there. If Darklings beat you to E2, it means that you're not going to get the town there, and I wonder how he plans to make up for this.
yeah, that's a very good point. I definitely overlooked that. But yeah, that E2 hex, that brown hex, is definitely contested by both Darklings and Nomads. So whoever gets there first is definitely going to get an advantage in the overall game. It's not the end of the world if you lose it, but I'm not really sure how high on their priority list that hex is either. Because Darklings have a lot of options too. Like they're not forced to go to E2. They can actually just go to B2 if they want via a bridge, via shipping. I mean, it would be good if they just went south instead of north, but they have options. Nomads, they're pretty limited in terms of what they can do with that already built temple.
Yeah, and that will be taken into account for Darklings. I think being able to connect the 2 blacks for Darklings, I personally like a lot. I think it's you get 4 hexes for only 2 digs. That's amazing, an amazing deal. You don't need a bridge. You probably can expect mermaids to take black hex in the north because they will maybe want a town in there. So I think there are some reasons for Darklings to go for this, and one of them will be just to block nomads down. So that's a possibility too.
That's true. The Nomads passed and took the priest. That's pretty good. I think the priest is going to be nice this game. I mean, he's forced to take the double spade, his first action. So on his second action in that second round, he's going to have 2 priests to do whatever he wants, whether he wants to upgrade his shipping, which, well, actually, he's not going to be forced to take the double spades first action. Exactly. I guess it depends on how much power everyone else is. And looking at where everyone else is, he might be able to use that priest to upgrade his shipping, which you said earlier it would be really good if Jace do the Nomads passed on the advanced or the temp shipping. So he might just get real shipping and then take the double dig if there's no pressure on it. And then he can start doing things with the B2 hex, which is really good. It's the brown up north. He can then carve out his town on the red below his temple. So maybe that's the Nomad's game plan right now. I mean, he did have a lot of coins left over because he took the 6 coins. So I guess that's what I would expect, but I'm not 100% on that.
I'm actually right there with you. I think you're 100% right. It doesn't look at all that double spade will be threatened. So why not advancing shipping first? Then you can, as you said, take B2. There's also the G2 hex that you can take to connect, and you can go into a kind of dwelling spree for this dwelling round, which will be super nice for nomads. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that, and I think it's a very good observation.
So the mermaids have probably 1 move left if they want. I mean, they can build a dwelling, they can upgrade to a temple. it's always nice to build a temple in the first round just because you get the priest production. It's a little scary just because he's not going to have a ton of gold, but if he passes before everyone else, he can just jump on the 6 gold or the 3 gold with the dwelling bonus. So, that's really good for the mermaids here. I would expect him to take Earth 1 here, but he takes Fire 1. That's always fun. Fire 1's really good for the mermaids because, they always need gold, as every faction does, but the gold and the priest from the temple, that's like a free, you're basically getting free upgraded shipping every time you jump into a round.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to do that with the gold, but
yeah, everyone
you
wants
can.
gold, but mermaids more than everyone, absolutely. And we had a clue that he wasn't going for Earth 1, I think, because he built 2 dwellings first. So it would have been more logical to go for Earth 1 before building his dwelling. So I think he kind of tipped us on that one. Probably he saw witches going for dwelling rush, and he thought that maybe he can delay it a little bit. But now we see witches going for a trading post. I know Rainier will be. I don't expect him to do it this turn. I think he will complete his dwelling rush, but after that, he still has the option to go for Earth 1. So it's going to be interesting to see how this ends up playing. Like, does Rainier, for example, go for Earth 1 next round? I think it's very possible.
Yeah, and I've seen enough Ryan and Rainior's games to know that if that Earth 1's still there, he's definitely going to take it, even if he's already built 6 dwellings. I mean, it hurts whoever didn't take it. He's still going to be able to build, maybe 5 or 6 more dwellings. So I'm not sure if Barnawall needs Earth 1, but yeah, whoever gets that Earth 1, it's going to be super good for Barnawall if he gets both Fire 1 and Earth 1. So I have to think that Rainier's going to figure out a way, which, I mean, it's easy. He's already got a trading post on the board, but the problem with Rainier is he needs gold. So
yeah, however, we have some stats here showing us that Rainier pick witches 20% of the time. So it's definitely a faction he's used to play. I mean, it's not, well, we all know that it's not his first one rush. And I'm sure is very, very aware of this situation and has a plan or has a feeling of the position to know how to follow up and how to get points from there.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at his economic standpoint going into the second round, he's got 6 workers and 9 gold. I mean, that's a super healthy ratio, and he can do a lot of things with it. So it looks like when it comes to be his action, he'll go ahead and take Earth 1, but we'll see.
So we've seen an interesting move from Darklings, who was able to take D2, so the blue hacks just next to the Nomad's Temple. And to me, that seems to hint very strongly that he wants to complete the steal of E2 and making sure that Nomad is not going to do a town here. We see JCD looking a little concerned, I think. On his player cam, he's probably considering that, the fact that this town is probably gone. If he looks at the power situation, I think he has all the reasons to go for the plan you suggested earlier. Now it's you're losing the town on the west anyway, so let's advance shipping and let's get as many dwelling out as you can. I think that's the play for him.
Yep, I mean, he can definitely do everything that we said.
Well,
advance ship, take the double digs.
Just something I just noticed, sorry to interrupt you, but the Darkling has the shipping bonus, so that's super relevant. If he advanced shipping, maybe Darkling's digs B2 actually. So that's all of a sudden it looks a lot less interesting.
That is a very good point. So maybe if he loses out on B2. Maybe his priest, instead of upgraded shipping, are used better just on the cult track. He can take the 3-step on fire. He'll probably end up with the 2-step on earth. Maybe he gets the 3-step on earth, which, both of those cults, if he does that, are going to reward him later on. And he still, again, has no pressure on the double digs, so he can pretty much take that whenever he wants. Maybe somewhere on the middle of the map, he's pretty much left all that wide open for him to play around with, which is just going to give witches a good amount of leech. So we see him deciding with the second
All right,
spade.
so you went for the double spade. A little surprised by that. I think I kind of agreed with your reasoning here. There was no rush for that. No harm to send your priest to fire first, unless he's thinking about advancing shipping twice. Maybe that's the reason where that explains the pass for the priest. And advancing shipping twice kind of give him some interesting hexes, so maybe that's what's on his mind. It's possible.
Yeah, and again, we, as said from the auction, anytime you're going to play into the bonus cards, which upgrading shipping early is going to pay out pretty good dividends, because if you have 2 shipping by the end of this round and that shipping pass tile is still left for you to take, I mean, that's 6 points. So that's a viable plan. I would actually like that. Darklings do jump on that square, so the Nomad's dreams of jumping over there or jumping up there are pretty much out of the question. I haven't been paying attention to the Mermaids game too much, so I'm going to take a look at them. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add.
I was actually really wondering, because Mermaid passed for the Stronghold Sanctuary tile. And I was wondering if he had in mind because he was playing just before Rainier, so if that was because he planned on going for the Sanctuary for Earth 1 as his first move. He didn't send his priest to fire. I think it's a gutsy move. I like it. Rather than to focus too much on Earth 1, he preferred to carry on with his economic strategy, some kind of aggressive play. You see that Barnwell is not here he's playing to win here. He's playing aggressive, and certainly I like that. I like that mindset.
Yeah, no, any hard digs on that hex right next to Green Rain, the Darklings.
You're right, yeah. Big move there.
Yeah, big move. It hurts Darklings for sure. I mean, that was a free hex for them. It also allowed them to possibly jump on another black later on down the road on A7 or 8. I don't know. Counting's hard. Also, Ryan being super unpredictable. He takes Water 1. He does not take Earth 1. I'm actually pretty surprised he didn't take Fire 2. I think Fire 2 is genius. It's better than Earth 1 and Water 1. But yeah, I mean, that obviously Water 1 is really good here too. So he can now turn all these dwellings he has on the board and put them into trading post. And you were saying it's kind of awkward when the trading posts are going to be built this game, and Ryan has made that a not awkward time for him. He now has Water 1. He's going into a trading post round. If he can, and it looks like if he passes right now, he would take the 7 gold or the 3 gold and a spade, and that's some serious economy to build a bunch of trading posts. And he's got plenty of neighbors, so things are looking good for the witches.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
sitting at 29 points too.
Exactly. I think that's a very good point. Next round is trading post round, so that's always the worry. When do you build your trading posts? Do you build them before Water 1, before Earth 1, before after Water 1? Round 3 is super early for trading post, and probably is like with Mermaids already have built so many dwellings. I mean, will not build that many more, right? If you look at Mermaid's position, there's only very few spots that left for him. So is Mermaid really interested in Earth 1 anymore? Not sure at all. So it's not impossible that he can take Earth 1 a lot later in this one. So yeah, again, I like that move from Rainier. I think it's a good read of the position.
Yep. And maybe seeing Mermaids take the Fire 3 spot, and the Cult was the tell all along. I mean, if Barnawal as the Mermaids really wanted Earth 1, I mean, he would have taken it there instead of sending the Priest. And Ryan could have decided from there, okay, he's just going to go ahead and pass. I also see Ryan shaking his head. He's very upset he did not get the coins.
Yeah, that was the
again,
whole
those
plan,
coins
right?
are, yeah, I mean, those coins are a lot of points for him, because if he's able to get a ton of coins, I mean, that's, 2 workers and 3 coins is 6 points next round. And now instead of getting 7 coins, he only gets 3 coins. So
yeah,
he's definitely upset, and that's hard to predict.
Yeah, it's very hard. He wasn't expecting Mermaids to pass, I suppose. He could have interesting maybe move would have been to pass for the pass shipping bonus to get the power and get the 7 coin action. I don't know if he considered that, because that would have been 7 coins. And I don't think Mermaids is taking the 7 coins. He's playing Saigon, so he probably has it. So I think that was possible for him. But you rather went for the spade.
I mean, the way I look at it is taking the coins, you're actually only getting +3 coins, right? So if you're taking the coins action, you're only getting +3 because you're spending 4. So that's pretty much what the spade was. It was +3 coins, but also plus the spade. So
yeah,
I mean, I think like it is a cool combination of moves. You still get the power and the coins, but just looking at the raw numbers here, I think the spade was just a little bit better.
I actually totally agree with you, and you know what, I will not be surprised at all to see Ryan burning 4 power and take the 7 coins.
That also too, I mean, he could do both. Why not have both? I mean, generally you don't want to burn below the threshold of 6 powers for most factions, just because then you have no way of using the double dig. But this is a game where, I mean, there's not too many more double digs to be had by Ryan. I mean, yeah, he's going to want to be doing a lot more digs, but he can achieve that by advancing digging, by hard digging. He's got options.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually expect Ryan to go for the coin action as his first move.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the spade might help him too. The fact that he has the spade bonus also here makes it more valuable to burn below 6 power, because you have at least 1 spade that you're going to use. So that's one of the spades that you need. If you look at switches, probably for the rest of the game, it depends if he wants to do for a 3rd town, but he might not have that many dig coming either.
Yeah. Also, the reward for this year's cult track is 4 power. So Mermaids, because they did send that priest into fire, they will be getting the 4 power, and they'll be, as of right now, sitting at 5 power. So it's hard to see the Mermaids not taking that gold action. I mean, what are they valuing more than just 3 free coins? So maybe Ryan doesn't get the dream of the stealing the gold.
Yeah, it's very possible.
In addition.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I had missed that. But right now, Mermaid has plenty of coins. Yeah, he does go for the coins. I think just denying them to Ryan was probably one of the reasons for it. And he's gonna find some use for these coins eventually. We've seen actually nomads.
I mean, denying.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying denying them to the board is is really strong, but also just accepting them for yourself. I mean, we did say earlier, mermaids need coins more than any other faction. So that's going to help let them do whatever they want, whether it's increase shipping, build those, super expensive buildings such as a sanctuary, or not that they want to, but yeah, just whatever game plan they want, they can pretty much do.
Yeah. And I wanted to point out too that Nomads went for strategy that we thought he might do. So advances ship twice, and he was able to pass for the pass shipping bonus, guaranteeing him 6 points. So that's an interesting play too from them.
Yeah, that's really good. They don't have like a great ratio of workers to coins right now. I mean, they've got 8 workers for gold. It's not terrible. It's not bad, but I'm not really sure how many trading posts they're going to be building. It is interesting. Again, next year is everybody wants to build towns. So ideally, everyone's going to want to set up how they build so that they're, just 1 or 2 builds away from a town. So
yeah,
does Jace set his center 3 dwellings up such that he gets, maybe 2 trading posts, maybe 1 trading post now, and then I don't know. I mean, he has a few options. He can build a couple trading posts, and then he's going to get a cult, or actually no, he doesn't get a cult spade. He might be able to just hard dig the red and build there. I mean, he's got a good amount of stuff. It's not flourishing like the mermaids, or looking at everybody's gold, everybody's struggling for gold except the mermaids. So I'm not really sure what everybody's plans are. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, mermaids is sitting on a pile of gold, and combined with the fire 1 pick, it's actually interesting. I mean, I don't think that many towns will be built next round, right? I see maybe 1 for mermaids, maybe 1 for witches, and you will struggle for it. 1 for darklings, definitely. And 1 for nomads. I don't see more than 4 towns being built. I mean, maybe they will show me wrong, but right now it seems that the total of 4 towns might only be the result of
no faction is getting more than 2 towns. That's pretty clear to me. But darklings for sure get a town. It looks like nomads are going to get a town. I say that with pretty fair confidence. I guess the thing with witches is if they don't get the bridge, because their town's most likely going to go where their temple and trading post is on the middle. And if for some reason somebody buys a bridge, I don't see, or if witches decide that they don't want to build a sanctuary that round. I don't know. It looks like witches also get a town.
Yeah.
And then mermaids, it just looks like everybody's getting 1 town, but that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. The witches, that's what I was about to say, has a spade action from the bonus tile he got. So he's gonna set himself up for his town, but I don't see a second town for him next round. It's actually kind of very telling about the kind of game we've seen right now. We have Nomad starting up by... Darkling started everything, I think, with his placement when he decided to start on B5, trying to block witches. And then Nomad answered starting B4, blocking Darklings. And then Darklings answered going west, blocking Nomads down. We've seen the double spade from mermaids early on to take access from witches. So I will describe this game as violent. As violent as you can see a game without giants in Terra Mystica.
And that's what happens when you have 3 factions on the color wheel just right next to each other. It's it's exciting to watch, but it's definitely tough to play because you have to be super protective of your hexes, and you also want to score points. So do you do you go and grab your hexes, or do you go and try and take water 1 and earth 1, these favor tiles that get you points? And something that just happened is mermaids took water 1, so we actually have a weird and pretty rare case where earth 1 is still on the board after 3 rounds.
Yeah.
It could be taken seemingly at any time, and that's denying points for the other one, green or blue, and then it's giving you points for that. So whoever can get to that first, it's going to be a big swing within the 2 of those factions. It really, I don't think it has too much of an impact on Darklings and Nomads, but surely it has an impact.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's a very kind of unusual thing where it seems that Water One was almost more important than Earth One in this game, and one thing I'm keeping on my mind since the beginning is that Green Rain playing on Snellman is not used at all. This kind of matchup. I mean, because on Snellman, no one will have picked witches as fourth faction in this. Everyone will have picked engineers, which makes a lot more sense in the setup. So in auction, kinds of opens all kind of funny matchup because the faction you pick is not the faction you end up playing. And I wonder, like, for example, for his initial placement, if part of it was him not being used to this kind of faction matchup, that he ended up with making something which I think was a mistake. This dueling is not doing anything for him right now. So I think that's an interesting dynamic in this game too. And right now, I see Green Rain as struggling. I mean, it's not clear even where his second town is going to be.
Yeah, it's like once he finishes his first town, it's like, where do you go after you build that first town? That's a really good point. And also, like you said, with the funky matchups, a lot of Snellman players, they're not used to being thrown into these weird color matchups because it's the way the game is played on Snellman is just slightly different in terms of how you pick your factions, which is enough to give a lot of these BGA players just enough of an edge where sometimes that can make or break the game. Also, just to catch everybody up, there's one copy of Earth One left. There's one copy of Water One left. So it looks like Darklings, they passed first. It looks like if they want Water One, they can take it. Not sure that they do want to because they need gold and they might want to prioritize the gold action first, which means Nomads then have the option to take Water One. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how the Earth One plays out. It looks like because witches need the bridge, because also mermaids, like, they might want that. Well, not might. They do need that bridge because of their west town. That's the only way they can hook and connect their or their temple with the other 2 dwellings. So it's 2 bridges needed, and it looks like I guess witches could take the bridge this round and then not have to worry about it. But yeah, there's pressure on a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. And the drawback, of course, is that you lose 5 points because if he takes bridges now, he towns up now.
That's true. So, yeah, because he's at power level of 7 with those buildings. Yeah, so he might just want to go ahead and pass now. I mean, it would be nice to place another trading post, but just to secure that 5 points for next year. And looking at the past tiles, it looks like he wouldn't get anything super crazy good for him. I mean, pass temp shipping is, I guess, good. He does just go ahead and build the trading post, which that's fine. It can't be bad.
Yeah, I was wondering where it will be, the trading post, because that kind of gives us a clue of where he's planning for another town. So it seems that it doesn't want, because he could have do the trading post on C4 and plan for a bridge down over there. But going on a something probably means that he is thinking about 3 towns. So that's what it's telling me. Because he upgraded on A10, it means that he wants to do a town in the north and he wants to do another town in E9, F6, G6, H8, I11. So still big plans for Raynor in this game.
Yeah, and it looks like we can pretty much see what exactly he wants to do. I mean, like you said, yeah, he wants the town on A10, A11, C5, and then just carve out from E9 down to F6, G6, H8. So it looks like that's what witches have on their plate, and I have no idea what darklings are gonna do. They might try and neighbor up with witches somehow on the east. That's not guaranteed, but mermaids still have some flexibility with what they want to do. But I actually, looking at this map, a lot of their not a lot, but witches did take their blue down in the south, and I don't really know if they aim for a third town, how they get it. Do you? That's kind of tricky.
The third town for who?
For mermaids. Like, it doesn't have to be in the game, but obviously,
oh yeah, I don't see
everyone thinks about it.
I don't see a third town for mermaids. Mermaids, actually, if you look at the position right now, to me it's a competition between nomads and witches. I think Darkling's position is difficult. It's Darkling. I mean, you might be able to pull out something okay out of it. But if you look at your expectation at the beginning of the game, it's not where you expect them at this point, for sure. I mean, something has gone wrong for him. And mermaids, I find, is so cramped. It seems like you really see why he was the 30 points faction. It seems like he has nowhere to go right now.
Yep.
And so, I mean, again, do you take Earth 1 as mermaids? Even if it's still there, I totally understand why you went for Water 1 there. I mean, we've just seen Darklings taking another blue effects. I mean, will mermaids build more than 2 more dwellings in this game? I'm not even sure. I mean, he has just nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So
yep. The first action in this round is the coins for Darklings, which, I mean, they desperately needed that. And it looks like they'll just build a sanctuary. If Water 1 is there, I guess they take Water 1. If it's not there, maybe Air 1. Maybe, I guess it's got to be Air 1. Nothing else seems super amazing.
Yeah. I mean, usually you will eye fire too, but in this situation, I mean, what good is fire too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, your sanctuary is already going to get you your town, and I mean, you could do some crazy stuff, take Earth 2 and take 1 cult step, and that gives you 2 digs at the end of this round, but you're not getting any points from Earth 2. You're just getting, some economy help.
You know what?
It's a bit weird.
At this point, I wonder, I'm not sure Darklings is still thinking about the sanctuary. I mean, he has the tiles, so maybe, but the sanctuary is super expensive at this point. I don't know. Maybe he goes for another temple. It's possible. One thing we have to keep in mind, I mean, does Darkling completely quit on the B5 dwelling? Is it possible to see him triple dig the red? I know that right now he has only 2 priests, but if he towns up, he can get a third one. Can we have like some kind of plays like this? I mean, the thing is, even if you do that, connecting is far, far, far from being guaranteed. You probably have to still triple dig the mountain with the mountain on C2. But I mean,
that's actually a really interesting play. I mean, the way I look at it is, if I'm Darklings, things are looking a little dicey. And maybe that's just because I'm not really looking deep into the game. But connection is always good. Like, it's always good for points. And also, yeah, triple digging that red to play for connection is really good for that. But also, like, I don't know if there's a better spot for a town. So maybe that is his path, because if he just builds a trading post, the Darklings right now takes a priest for his town, and then triple digs takes the blacks. I guess he's putting the ball in J Stew's court and says, hey, if you want to mess with my game, you can dig that brown, A7. And if nomads want to dig that brown, the only way Darklings get that town is through a sanctuary. But yeah, I mean, that's a town over on A8, A9, B5, and then Darklings would have their third town up in the top. I mean, all that is pretty expensive, but I mean, it gives things for Darklings to play for in terms of points.
Yeah.
So I do like that, and I wasn't thinking about that earlier. It's a neat little thing.
Yeah, it will be interesting what will be his approach on this thing. We're seeing Barnall taking a lot of time. I wonder if he's thinking about the bridge here. We've seen, I think, since the beginning of the game, Barnall being very aggressive. He was trying to deny things. He was very aware of what other players want, and he was trying to deny things. We saw him hard dig the B3 hacks. We saw him going for the path shipping as his very first move of the game to make sure he would deny the double spade to other players and secure it for himself. So I wonder, like, he knows he needs the spade for another town, as you pointed out. So is that something he's considering right now?
Yep, it looks.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. And I mean, that's really good for two reasons. One, obviously he's going to be able to form his town this year, surely, with all the resources he has. And then two, he's making Rainier pay for his, you build that trading post last round, you don't get a town this round. So it's, a difference of 2 points if you look at the math of the 3 points from last round and then the 5 points for this round. But I mean, those 2 points, I mean, they could be everything. So that could be the difference in what he needs. Also, how does he form the town? I mean, I'm not really sure. It's so weird. I guess mermaids could take fire too here and then build his towns with, a dwell. Oh, I see it. Okay, so he needs a sanctuary, and then he needs a dwelling, and then 2 trading posts.
Yeah, exactly.
That gets him 2 towns with fire too. So if the resources are there, I guess that's Mermaid's plan. So I have no idea if the resources are there.
Yeah, they are. They are. So I think they are.
Zoras is already there.
Because if he takes a 2 worker town with his, so sanctuary, he has the resources for sanctuary trading post. And then he's take the worker town, and then he has resources for dwelling and trading post. So I think that's his play here. I think he's gonna play like the smallest game possible. He's gonna cross his finger that Darkling doesn't connect, and he still does. The 6 points in connection. And I mean, he needs some cult. Right now, it's not. Darkling is making an interesting push for our water. I think you need to win 2 cults as mermaids in this strategy. And I don't see it. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I think that's his best move. We've seen also nomads going for the stronghold. Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it makes sense in some respects. it's so weird. I mean, how else was he building the town? I guess he's building some more trading posts, but does he really want to be building that many trading posts? I mean, this is nice because he doesn't have a lot of easy ways to build more towns. Like if he wants to build a town up in the north, I mean, he's got to go through a black hex. He's got to go, well, that's really the only hard hex, I guess. Which that what I'm looking at is if you look up on B4, just one hex above it is A8, and then that's a possible town there where we were talking about with the Darklings being able to come in and try and sneak connection through. So I just don't I don't see a better plan for Nomads unless you see something. So
Yeah, what I was
it's nice
thinking-
because it gives. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. What to me the golden rules for, and we'll see. I mean, he might have an occasion to do that. Golden rule for Stronghold is that it's good as long as it allow you to connect to yellows. And one of the reasons Nomad's Stronghold on the base map is, I think, the worst of any maps in Terra Mystica is that it doesn't give you this opportunity most of the time. Here, though, there is this opportunity in the east that's really, really not usual. But because usually Darkling is on the east island. I think if Nomads want to town the east, that's an interesting play. If he's digging the Black Hex this turn, he passes before Witches and uses again his Nomad ability on. So we are on G. I'm talking about G5 and 6. So if Nomads can take G5 and G6 with his Nomad, and then he connects the other yellow, the G7 hex, and he has a town there. That could be not just a good play for him, but also kind of harmful again for Rainiers, who's.
That's true, and we do see Jace picking a coin town. Now, was this predictable? I don't know, but he seemed so. I'm telling you, when I watched this man pick that coin town, and he was so happy, and I'm so glad that he was smiling about it because he knew that he was doing it for Ryan. So, Jace, I'm here for you. I see you, dog. But I mean, it's probably a good town though. Like he's got a ton of workers. He needs to leverage all those workers with some coins. So it's not terrible. He still seems to be smiling about it.
I think
Jace's just having a good time.
Yeah. I think in round 4, you want an economic town. Makes sense. Of course, I mean, then we're probably talking. I mean, I suppose 3 towns is not out of the question, but I think 2 towns is more likely for Nomads. So yeah, we see the play for the G5X here from Nomads, which is going to be like, I mean, if you're Rainier, what do you do now? Do you pass to make sure that you beat Nomads to the G6X? It puts a little pressure on him. Do you hard dig? I mean, he could do that. He could hard dig the G6X and use the Priest as a worker. I'm sure that's not his ideal play. So I'm curious to see how Rainier reacts to that, because I would expect that he wants the G6X. I mean, you can still town in this area without it, but it's much more simple with the G6X. So very wondering how he reacts to that. And I mean, he has 3 trading posts up, which is pretty good. So I because the point was I was thinking of is he passing now to make sure he secures the G6X. It means that he cannot take the coin action as the first action. But with 3 trading posts up, it's probably not such a big deal.
Yeah, and if for any reason I don't see it, but if for some reason Jace decides he's gonna try and town where his temple is, that means he could take the bridge away from Ryan, and that would leave That would leave 1 round left for Ryan to take a bridge. And, going into that last, and I know we're thinking way ahead right now, but if you're going into the last round and there's no bridge left, or if there's 1 bridge left and the only person that needs the bridge is the witches, if somebody else has the option to take it, they most likely will. So not only does that nomads digging east, it not only affects things, immediately right now with, okay, he's got to take that blue hex if he wants some easy town right there. But it could be affecting things like 3 years or 3 rounds, later. So, and I think this is actually like really good because, like, again, if Ryan has all these like things that could possibly just not go his way, whether he doesn't get that hex, he doesn't get the bridge, like somehow, like this just takes away a lot of that stress out of his game plan, which at the sacrifice of like a couple workers and a priest or something, like it's fine.
So yeah, he paid a lot for this hex. I'm sure he wasn't happy with this play. He had to do a hard dig. He had to spend a priest. But at least he secured this. And I think you were totally right pointing out the bridge situation, because in all likelihood, if he's still on the 3 town plans, he needs 2 bridges. And with the kind of, there's 2 rounds remaining for that. So he doesn't want to miss on any of them. So I think that's what motivated the play here. He didn't pass because if he passed and dig as first action, maybe if he missed on the bridge, it cost him a town there.
Yeah. I mean, 2 bridges is definitely like the best play for him because it's the cheapest way to get all those towns. And if he only gets 1 of those bridges, it's just going to be he's going to have to spade 1 of those reds, and that's just double spade 1 of those reds, and that's just really expensive. And those are the types of moves that can take you from having a dominating game to just having a good game. And you need a dominating game sometimes to win. And as of right now, I mean, Rainier seems to be having a really solid game. So I think securing that hex just allows him to keep coasting on the momentum that he's built up thus far.
Yeah, I agree. So Rainier, I mean, I think, again, it's pretty much between him and Nomads at this point to me. It's not, we've just seen Witches went for, so Witches quitted on the plan, not Witches, Mermaids quitted on the plan of getting to town this round. I decided to not go for Fire 2. I think I like the Fire 2 plans. He preferred to go for Cult. As I said, I mean, it's always also a concern if Witches with, Mermaids with the kind of small game he's playing, you want to win at least 2 cults. So it's probably why you went for the Cult Town. We've seen earlier in the round Darklings going for the 2 key town. So the 2 players who feel they are kind of out of the network race are trying to make up with the cult. And to come back to Ryan, I think he played that very smart, going for. I mean, there was no income on the air track, so it wasn't contested, and he just decided that he would focus this track only and not care about the rest. And I think that was the right plan. So he's even if he hasn't played a very cult focused game, he still probably will get points, at least the 8 points from this cult. So that's looking pretty good. I mean, I think credit to Ryan this game. A lot of things were challenging for him, but he succeeded right now to maintain his head above water, and to me, he's the favorite to win this one.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this game currently, and looking at Mermaids specifically, they're at 70 points, which is 13 points ahead of Darklings, which is 23 points ahead of Witches, 14 ahead of Nomads. Sorry for my slow math. I can't read. Also, But yeah, I mean, Mermaids, they're ahead in points. They started ahead in points. They've maintained that lead. It looks like they're going to win a cult and maybe two. They've still got another town coming in. They've got a decent-ish economy. Is this enough to win it? Do you think they're still in the race? I mean, I'm not counting them out. They also could still take Earth 1.
I don't see much value for Earth 1 for them. But
That's true.
It will be interesting. Maybe there's a little more value for Witches. Probably doesn't have that many dwelling to build more either. It will be interesting to see how it follow up. Right now, I mean, one thing that was very good also with this hard dig from Witches is that now he has, that was the problem the whole game, having neighbor for his town on the East Island. Now he's fine. Now he has it. So we were wondering, like, is this a move against? I don't know. I was totally on board with that. That's a move against Witches taking the black hex, the G5 hex for nomads, but it also actually ends up helping Witches in an interesting way. So I think even Witches might be like 23 points behind Mermaids, but it probably has two. Well, it definitely has two towns coming and maybe three. So I believe it will be fine here.
Yeah, no, Witches have a ton of points coming in for sure. It's kind of hard to see them not having three towns. What is that? 15 points just in the books. I guess you could just add 15 points to whatever their score is right now. So yeah, and they probably win network. I don't know, maybe nomads. I guess it's a contest between nomads and Witches. And nomads right now, if Witches don't take the gray hex over on the east, nomads can just sandstorm the gray and just cause even more disruption for Rainier.
Yeah, so I do believe Rainier will take this one. I expect him to. Oh no, he secured the bridge. Interesting. So nomads probably is very happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, that bridge keeps some dreams alive. So
it does. At the same time, I mean, the east towns just got a lot more harder to do if you lose the mountain to nomads.
Yeah, I mean, surely J-Stu is going to sandstorm that gray. He's not going to be able to build a dwelling, but I mean, why wouldn't he, right?
Yeah, totally.
And I guess we're getting close to the time of how many more actions in this round do people want to make before they secure a pass tile, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be really important to focus on getting a pass tile that scores you points. It's pretty much the pass tile shimmy shuffle, right? Shout out to Netty G. But yeah, it's like, as of right now, there's a shipping pass tile available. So if Mermaids don't get it, that's going to hurt them. And if somebody gets left out of one, I mean, there's three to take. So somebody's going to be missing out on one. Possibly two people miss out on one. So I think there's not a lot of great actions that people want to be doing this round. So seeing some early passes is probably what I'm looking for.
Totally. I mean, the pass shipping is probably the bonus that will get you the most points in the last round. And last round is especially significant. So it's definitely an issue between our players. There's competition for that. So yeah, Mermaids. I was wondering, like, if Rainier didn't go for the bridge, will Barnwell maybe maybe there was some argument for Barnwell to take the bridge and just not build a sanctuary, just go with a tree temple strategy. And then if he has a bridge north, he can do a town there. He has the spade. So probably that was on Rainier's mind, I would believe. When he decided to take the bridge, he knew that there was some interest from mermaids. There was some possibility there.
These guys refusing to take Earth 1. I just think it's hilarious. I mean, it's probably the right move, but it's got to be the right move for witches. But like, will mermaids get any points from this Air 1 this round? I don't even know, because like, if I'm the mermaids right now, I want to use my spade, build a dwelling, and then pass out, because I mean, there's no more temples to be building this round. I don't want to be building trading posts this year, because trading posts are for the next year, and my eyes are looking at that passing ship tile, right?
Yeah.
So
totally.
I don't think he secures that if he stays in this round for much longer. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 moves, somebody's going to pounce. Possibly the nomads, possibly the witches, because the witches also still want that bridge. So witches desperately need that bridge, because not only do they need the bridge, but they now need a double spade. So they don't want to have to get a double spade and another double spade on top of missing the bridge. I mean, that pretty much will just tell them that they're not going for 3 towns anymore. They're just going to go for 2 towns. So
yeah. So will be I kind of probably that mermaids, as you said. I mean, there's a lot of argument for them to want to pass early. I totally agree with you. I don't think he's going to get any value out of Air 1 this turn. Question is, though, will he build... How many dwellings does he still build, right? Probably, he's definitely building 1, maybe 2. So Earth 1 was maybe 2 points, 4 points for him. I suppose he expects to get at least 3 points from Air 1 next turn. So I suppose that's his thinking, right? As you said, what? I mean, he did pass, and he didn't even use his spade in the end.
I mean, I guess it wasn't like super. Yeah, it wasn't super important to him. It's just the inner Terra Mystica player in me. Like, it hurts so much to forego such a great bonus tile action, such as the spade. But yeah, sometimes it is the right move.
It is, yeah. And I mean, if he felt there was a real danger, someone else would pass for it. And for it was probably the right move. Sometimes trying, and you're right, I mean, Terra Mystica players, we're trying to optimize everything. We're framed for that. But sometimes it's our worst enemy too. The trying to min-max too much, trying to optimize everything, you end up making the relevant choices, and that can cost you big. So, I mean, was there a threat for someone else to pass? It's always hard to tell. Right now, there's no reason for anyone to pass early. We knew it will be like a very sought bonus. People will look for this bonus. So, I mean, again, I like the fact that Barnwell here made a choice. He didn't try to do everything. He decided that the most important was the passing ship bonus, and he prioritized it. So, if he can classify, if he can rank for next round for that, and I think you're right. I mean, he's not out of it yet. We will have to remember this decision of not using a spade as very significant.
For sure. And I mean, transitioning to Darklings, looking at where he's at, I mean, he's got a healthy bit of workers. He's got a healthy bit of coins. He's going to be able to dig that brown and put his dwelling. He's going to go into next round. He's going to be able to build all of his trading posts. I mean, that's a lot of points, which is also really good for Darklings. Also, they have the option to jump onto the dwelling. I mean, how beautiful is that? That's really good for Darklings. I mean, why wouldn't they?
And
That's the gods of Pastel Shimmy Shuffle are looking upon him.
yeah, and I mean, he has two reasons to do it. To get this style, I'm not sure he's gonna get that much value out of it, because will he have that many dwellings standing at the end of the round if he wants to do 4 trading posts? It's not so clear. I mean, he has also the option to kind of wait nomads out and get his bonus. The big disadvantage, though, of that is you give the past dwelling to nomads, and who's going to score out of it?
I mean, okay, so he does decide to not take it. But what I was going to say is, I mean, it is quite a bit of math, but like trying to figure out which one is better, points for dwellings or, points for the big bonus, or the big building, which is your sanctuary stronghold. Is he essentially going to have 4 buildings on the map by the end of the round, or is he going to have just, the one sanctuary? So I guess he's fine just taking the 2 workers and the sanctuary stronghold. I think I would have passed on the dwelling just because, I don't know, you're like you said, like you're giving the nomads the points for all the dwellings, and I'm not really sure how good or bad the nomads are going to do in terms of victory points at the end of this game. So maybe Green Rain, he does know how many points Jace Dew is getting, and he's not necessarily worried about the nomads. Or maybe, maybe I have no idea. That is a very good possibility.
Yeah, it's much harder to kind of comment on 4 factions at the same time, and rather than focusing on one faction, trying to figure out the plan. I wonder like how his coin economy is gonna work out. Is it like, for example, he's gonna have a ton of workers? Is it possible for him to consider stronghold next round? Is that like a possible idea? Right now I feel like he doesn't have enough coin for doing it, but I mean, if he can get 3 priests out of the stronghold, it can be interesting, an interesting trade-off, especially if he can put these priests into good use. I mean, who knows, maybe it can help him to connect, or even without connecting, maybe he can beat mermaids on network. It's not impossible. So yeah, kind of looking forward to what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, it's really tough to see what Darklings want to do. I mean, I thought for sure they were going to build all their trading posts next round, but they decided to go ahead and build 1 trading post now. So maybe he has hopes to do more than just trading posts next round. I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't delay that trading post. I mean, it's not really gaining you anything.
Oh, he's building another temple. There you go. But
whoa, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another priest for your income. That's a favor tile that he could. I mean, we've been sleeping on him. This guy has been playing them cults. Oh my, Green Rain, what a beast.
Yeah, he already has secured 2 here. I suppose I mean, Air 1 is gone.
That's true.
Seeing Water 1 all gone before Earth 1 is something, but seeing Air 1 all gone before Earth 1 is all gone, I'm not sure I've seen that ever before. I suppose then Fire 2? I mean, Fire 3? Air 3?
Yeah, it is very strange. Fire 3 or Air 3 has to be the move.
Yeah, I would guess so, yeah.
Unless, I mean, he could take Fire 1 how bad is 3 extra coins, right? Like he's probably going to lose whichever cult he tries to beat whoever in. And 3 coins it's not terrible for him. In some crazy world, maybe that's not a bad move, but maybe in this world it is. I don't know.
Well, I see the point. I would think. I mean, it's possible. I mean, one of the reasons here is one thing I'm keeping an eye on is that he's gonna make 4 priests next turn. So what about like fire 2 and trying to go for another town, digging the red on the red that we've talked about. I think it's A9. Is that like? I mean, I suppose Nomad's blocking you. Will Nomad have anything to do with his stronghold action? Probably not. So maybe it doesn't worth it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Fire 2 looks reasonable, but this guy has no coins. Like, it's really rough. I mean, he's the coins you see is what he's gonna have next year. It's rough.
Which is 0.
That's that's not to say he can't, take a coin town unless Jace2 geniusly took all the coin towns from him 2 rounds ago. Oh my god, Jace2. Jace2 is the biggest brain. Oh my goodness.
Well, actually, so one thing we're totally forgetting is that Darkling's actually making 6 coins this round because of the cult.
Oh, the cults! I forgot how to play this game. You're right.
Yeah. And so he's definitely counting on that. But we see here he went for Air 3, which is, again, I mean, probably guarantees him, if he doesn't go for Air 3, he's doing max 1 point, I think, on the air. And here, probably that means going 4. So that probably was 3 points plus 4 for the temple. That's 7 points. 7 points move for this temple. It's almost the amount of points you do with the town. So probably it was worth it. And you get 2 more points for the priest that you're producing next round. So
right.
I understand better the move now that I remember how to play the game and that there's also content.
Yep. Playing the game is hard. Yeah, first action was coins by mermaids. I mean, what a hog. Save some for the rest. Jeez. Surely witches are gonna take a bridge.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he's too busy eating. He's too busy eating to make his move, is what it looks like. I told you guys, don't eat before your match, like 4 hours, and Rainier just says, you know what, Clay? I'm gonna eat during my match. How rude.
Yes, this is a real bully out there. I mean, the coins you were mentioning, Barnwell, hoarding all the coins from the game away from the game. There was something also to be said to take the bridge, right? If you want to make sure Rainier doesn't end up doing 2 towns here, we could have gone for the bridge. It has the big upside of probably you can hard dig the Black Hex and do a second town without doing a sanctuary. So that was the option. He preferred to go for the coins. I mean, there is no question he wants to go for 5 ships here. And normally I would say Mermaids doesn't look like he has a very good game, but that has been such an aggressive game and such a kind of game where every henches were fought for that I don't expect super high score in this one. So yeah, looking forward. I mean, it's gonna be a thriller until the end.
Oh yeah, and everyone still has one more town coming in, which is probably 2, unless I'm allocating the resources wrong. Which
he didn't go for the bridge, so that kind of tells us something, I suppose.
Yeah, that might mean okay, he's probably not going for 3 towns total. So, what did he do? I missed it on the log.
Yeah,
He must have bought a priest. I think that's what he did. He must be upgrading his digs and or shipping with those priests because he can use the digs pretty nicely for sure.
I mean, if he wants to do the shipping, the network points, he will need to get 3 ships. So I suppose that was on his mind too. And probably, yeah. So what it tells me is that he doesn't believe in 3 towns anymore, and he felt that he wanted to do a high-scoring second town. So he went for the priest, thinking that he doesn't want to go for like the past shipping one, and he was afraid that someone will take the priest down before him. I think to me, that's how I read this move from him.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. That's not where I was, but that's where you were, and you're Zoras, which means you were right.
Yeah, my result on the last match will disagree with you.
I think people are just so scared of you. They deny you leech, they deny you hexes, it's out of fear, so it's hard to play when everybody's playing against you. You're playing a 1v3, which honestly it looked like it was a 1v3 for witches here too. I mean, everybody's seemingly just trying to hurt witches. I guess darklings haven't messed with the witches too much, but
I mean that one
everybody's been messing with everybody. This has been a bloodbath.
That one, exactly. That was a Royal Rumble. I mean, that's a game produced by Bizzle. I mean, and it was, every inches was fought hard for, and as a result, again, it's probably not going to be a super high scoring game, but I think it was a very entertaining one. And still, I mean, my money is on witches here, but it's kind of hard to figure out what will be the last picture because it's such. I mean, we are on uncharted ground here. I'm not used to this kind of final position, so it's kind of hard to figure out where all of this is all going.
Yeah, and that triple dig on red, I think you were calling that out earlier. We do see it, so he might be able to get, what is it, 3rd place in network? That's 6 points. That's possibly. Let's see, what are mermaids at? They've got. Currently on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, darklings are still competing for those 6 points. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. He still needs to advance his shipping, so that's not the most efficient move for him. If he's advancing his shipping, he wants to be sure that he's going to do points on network. So it's going to be interesting. Another interesting line to follow. Because, I mean, that's 4 coins for advancing shipping for only 2 points. These 4 coins could have been used to do 2 trading posts that were 6 points each. So definitely, I mean, I actually, we will see. I mean, I will expect him more to go for the trading post, but if he's sure that he's getting network, that could be a play too.
Yeah, Ryan's he's sitting on such a fat stack of resources right now.
Typical Ryan.
Right? I know. Everyone jokes. I don't even know if people joke about it. It's just true. He just always ends up in these positions, which it's kind of tough when you are in that situation because you want to do the most efficient moves for victory points, right? So like, he's got to figure it out. I'm not sure what that is. Did he just upgrade his digs? No, he upgraded his shipping. Okay, so maybe what he's doing right now is he's just going to upgrade his shipping to see where his resources are at the end of it and then figure out like what's best to do. Is he? Okay, never mind. Yeah. I was about to ask the dumbest question. I was about to ask if he's building another town. Like, obviously he's building another town, but like, why is he waiting? I guess.
Maybe one reason is
I
that
mean, there's no threat on. I guess he's building it from digging that red. Is my guess.
yeah, that's definitely a possibility. One reason for advancing shipping is maybe if he thinks he can compete with nomads on network, um, and he wants to take the I6X as soon as possible, not letting nomads the time to decide that he wants to use nomads action on it. So that's the explanation I would see for advancing shipping here. We'll see if if he builds his dwelling straight away, that will kind of give the confirmation for that theory.
Yeah, nomads are currently in last place, I guess, with quotations. There's always in-game bonuses that you add, but they've still got another town coming up. It looks like they're definitely competing for largest network, so that could be 18 or 15, depending on if witches can tie them. They don't really have a ton of cult points. They're just sort of they're getting like 4 here, 2 there, 4 here. So nomads are still getting some points. Everything they do is getting them points. They're going to build a dwelling. That's points for Earth 1. They're going to build trading posts. That's points for the round. And then Air 1. So every move is just money maker.
Yeah.
For the nomads.
He doesn't have water one, so he's not scoring as much as the other player from the trading post event. I think unless there's something I'm missing. I don't see another town for him. So I think it was not a bad idea to use nomad action on the I6X, preventing witches from taking it, because witches is his only threat on network. So you want, and witches also has a spade in his hand. So I mean, maybe he's sure that he's getting network one way or the other, but just to be sure, I will have taken I6, and we see, so that's kind of confirmed. We see Ryan just build on I6, so that kind of confirmed the read that the reason why he advanced shipping last turn was that he was trying to secure the I6X as soon as possible, maybe catching nomads sleeping on it, and that seems to be what happened here.
Yeah, I think he did miss it, just because I mean, there's no other hex that they really would need to sandstorm, so why not just hurt somebody else? And it looks like he's sort of entered a deep think now, so I'm interested in J Stew's moves. He intrigues me. I guess Darklings are still trying to figure out. I mean, if I'm Darklings, I build, 2 more trading posts and you don't even have enough for 2 trading posts in a dwelling. So I guess you can place 2 more dwellings and a trading post. There's some combinations for him, but basically you go for the network with the dwellings, or you go for the trading post scoring for this round in Water 1. So.
Yeah, I expect him to build 2 trading posts. I think that seems to me to be the most rewarding play. I was wondering, actually, is it possible that GCD actually made a major mistake? If he digs I6, the hex that Witches just took, did he have enough on the turn to maybe go for Fire 2 and have a last town? I mean, don't think no one is contesting the double spade, which he could have used for I5 and I8. Maybe that's a little stretch, I don't know, but I wonder if that was completely impossible.
It looks to me very possible, because before he just placed that dwelling, he had a dwelling on his board. He had a dwelling and 2 trading posts, which are all the buildings he needed for that town. And I mean, he has quite a bit of resources.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
was
I mean,
asking for the double spade.
It's two
so,
hard digs.
It
Or
was a double
spade
spade,
too,
a double
true.
spade action, but probably doesn't have enough coin for that.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it was there, I guess. I mean, surely he's winning network. I guess so. And then I guess Mermaids is last on my list of looking at. They've just got to build a sanctuary, and then they get a town. Do they take? I guess they just take Fire 3. Why not?
Yeah.
Just clean up on Isle Fire, and then just finish out with your upgrade shipping.
Exactly. That's probably you take the 11 points down, you advance ship twice. Not sure there's much else to do for Mermaids at this point. I mean, he could look for trading posts too, right? So trading posts are very rewarding for him. Does it worth it to take a worker town to do one more trading post? Maybe.
Surely. Also, I forgot Rainier. He's sitting on a spade tile, so he doesn't actually have to double dig. He can just spade and then 3 extra workers, so it's not that expensive for him. He's still. I wonder if J-Stew's gonna upgrade his digging here, and if given the chance, he might try and disrupt.
Do you think there's any way Rainier is still thinking about 3 towns? I mean, the bridge is still there.
Oh man, no shot. I mean,
yeah, I don't think so neither, because he also needs to get 2 ships. So,
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Before you brought up shipping, I was just saying no shot just to sound smart, but now yeah, there's actually no shot. Like. Darklings have made it up to 110 points. They're still going to get passing points from their pass tile. I mean, they're probably going to be at 120 when they pass with 2 Colts in the bag.
Yeah, with something
I'm
like...
not sure if they get...
16, 20, 22 points of Colts. As you said.
Yeah, they're going to...
Yeah.
No points for connection, but I mean... That's quite a bit.
Given the kind of very rough start he had, I think after the initial positioning, I played a very good game.
So are you a fan of the B5 placement by Darklings in the beginning? Do you see it often?
No, not against Nomad. I mean, if it was just witches for the B5 start. Sure. I mean, you want, and usually I like it when there is no nomad and there is no mermaids. But here there was both mermaids and nomads, because the problem with mermaids is that they threatens B3 and A8, and of course we've seen nomads threatening B4. So if those factions are not in, then you have a kind of interesting possibility. Usually you will start E10 and B5. Not C1 and B5 as we've seen. But it's kind of stop witches and it gives you an interesting possibility of expansion toward west. But here, I think it wasn't a good idea.
Gotcha. I mean, I guess its purpose is to try and get the leech when it comes up there, but also like it disrupts the witches from getting that early town. And clearly, as we saw in this game, it pretty much held witches to 2 towns. I mean, there were some other factors that played into that, like the nomads messing with them, some bridge, pressure. But yeah, I mean, if at the end of the day, like if Green Rain were to win and it's like super close between him and the witches, I wonder if that would have. I mean, surely it's a factor, but I wonder if that's the move. I mean, there's 300 moves in a game. What am I talking about? The move. It was simply one of the bigger influential moves, I guess.
One thing Green Rain must not be super happy with is that I'm pretty sure now. I mean, Rainior's one of the big issue will be, will Rainior succeed to catch up Nomads on network? And I see Nomads definitely doing one more dwelling, and I suppose he will be able to do a second one. So probably doesn't. So the mistake that JCDU made not building I6 probably doesn't end up being very costly. We see finally witches do the digging on D7. I'm surprised that the 11 points down was still there for them, but Rainier jumped on that one, and he's now at 105 points and probably doing at the very least 12 points for network and 10 points on cults.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I just saw Ryan grab a pencil. He looks to be chewing on it. He's still continuing to eat, but it looks like he's about to start doing his in-game calculations. I'm not really sure what he's doing with that pencil, but
I mean, we know that he needs to advance shipping twice.
I just have to say I've never wanted to be a pencil so bad in my life until now. Oh. Sorry. Oh man.
All right. So
I just want to see mermaids take a town already. Like all these people delaying their towns.
Yeah, I'm very, very puzzled by that. I mean, Barnwell, why not going for a town? Why did he have to advance shipping before going for a town? And he could have stolen the 11 points down from Rainier. What exactly that means? I mean, because what town is he gonna get now? The 8 points town, which is not gonna give him much on the cult anyway. So yeah, I think it was a bit of suboptimal play by Barnwell here, delaying so much for his town.
Yeah. Barnwell is going to have a lot of points. I mean, he's already at 100, and he's sitting on a 15-point pass tile, and his next move is probably going to be the town. So how many points that gets him up to? I don't know. That's somewhere in the 120s, close to 130, which is already ahead of Darklings. It'll be ahead of everybody until we get to the in-game scoring.
One way to see it,
he's got some in-game scoring too.
One way to see it is that he's making a little more, I think, than Rainier on the cult. Rainier is at 10, and right now Barnwell stands at 14, and he's just getting 6 points less on network. I mean, unless I'm pretty sure Nomads will get his 2 last dwellings down, so he's getting only 6 points less on network. So yeah, it's gonna be. It's possible that Barnwell is actually leading on Rainier right now.
I mean, I would think so. It definitely looks like Nomads couldn't make up the VP, the victory point hole. I mean, they're passing for some points, but I don't know. They're 20 points. Is that right? Yeah, they're roughly 20 points behind Witches, and they're soon to be 20 points behind Mermaids. Oh man.
Yeah, it's
Surprisingly.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say it's hard to see exactly where Nomad went wrong in this game. I think he played some sensible move. In the end, was just able to make 2 towns, but part of that was that the interaction with the other players. Some of it wasn't really his fault. So maybe he paid too much. I mean, there's always this issue with Nomads that you don't have an errant way of scoring. So it's bidding so hardly for Nomads was in retrospect, and it's much easier to say after the fact, but maybe it was a little too much.
Right. I think maybe what could have happened is everyone saw that there was no color neighbors for Nomads, and in a game where Witches, Darklings, and Mermaids, as we see, are fighting so violently for their hexes, it's just like a safe faction to play, the Nomads. And the way things unfolded, you see Darklings go up north, which allowed some of the factions to play more kindly. But yet, they're still fighting for their hexes. But that definitely is not what the Nomads wanted to see from the initial dwellings. So maybe that's something that went into effect of why Nomads were not as great. I mean, I don't even know if that helps Nomads. It just kind of hurts all the other players. So
yeah,
it's like you said, it's tough to say.
And you know what I was thinking now, considering the fact that Jkudu is winning network, I think I criticize him wrongly for not blocking I6 from Witches. I think that maybe it was a mistake from Witches to build I6, because he lost 1 point from it, from resources, and he doesn't have it one, and it doesn't change his position on network in the end.
That's a good point. Yeah, he's definitely not going to win network. So, and Jace Do is definitely going to win network. So yeah, that's one victory point down the bag. Didn't even think about that. It's not getting that Earth 1. I mean, I can't believe he never got Fire 2, but that's another issue.
Yeah, do we have a game without any Fire 2 here?
Wow, we do. I didn't even think about that. That's kind of disrespectful.
Yeah. We'll
Do they
see
know
how
what
production
tournament they're
feels
playing
about
in?
this one. Will they ask for a replay or something between the contestants? Something went wrong in this one.
Yeah, this is a mulligan. Yep, and I guess they're just going to take 1 move each, or maybe 2 more moves each, and that's it, going into the final count.
One thing really weird. I was sure that Nomad uses Nomad action on the red hex, which is E3, but actually it didn't. And all of a sudden, I don't think he's winning network. Am I hallucinating?
Wait, what? Did he,
Oh, okay, right. So
was that on purpose?
Ryan cannot build his last dwelling, so he's still winning network. But I'm surprised. I was sure that Nomad could build these last 2 dwellings, and all of a sudden, it doesn't seem like he can. And one of the reasons is that he built the E3, and I'm not sure how he did it, because he didn't use his Nomad action somehow.
Yeah, why didn't he use the action? That's kind of strange. Unless the little action marker isn't showing up on the thing.
Yeah, perhaps it
I
is.
see what you're seeing, but I'm reading the chat and they're saying that we are lagging or something. I don't know. Oh, okay. It did now just cover it up.
I
Okay.
see. Okay, all right. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very confused. That would have been very sad. Because yeah, he still wants to upgrade his shipping and then place another dwelling. Well, he can't place the other dwelling, but I guess he upgrades his shipping. What else is he gonna do?
Well, I suppose he could get the single spade and build another dwelling for 3 points, but upgrading shipping is 4 points, so I don't know.
Big ship guy.
So where do we stand here? I mean, I was kind of confident Rainier was getting it, but right now I'm far from sure because Mermaids is passing for tons of points. We're talking here of 18 points for passing for Mermaids, 126. And yeah, Mermaids is definitely ahead of Witches here, which must be sweet for Barnwell. We've talked about how Rainier trolled him in the faction selection, so Barnwell will finish ahead of Rainier here, unless I'm missing something. And
yeah, no, I think I'm seeing what you're
enough
seeing.
What
I
about
mean, Mermaids
Darklings?
and Darklings are, I mean, they're really close. They're 5 points away, and Darklings have a ton of cult points. And I mean, Mermaids have the 6 points on the area scoring.
It's super close. If I'm so the difference on cult. Oh, let's see it. I mean, let's not count it and let's just enjoy the drama here.
I mean, I don't even know how to count, so it wasn't really an option for me. I was waiting for you or the computer to do it.
I think
Jeez.
hats off to Green
That's-
Rain. After the start, you end up with a very decent score in the end, considering the amount he started on. I think very well done. And yeah, it seems that it's Barnwell's gonna take it.
Wow. Dang, Rain,
And Rain,
So Mermaids first, Darklings second, Witches third. Sorry, Jay Stu. We had a good time. Unfortunately, you came in fourth. So the question now is, did Rainier have a good enough third place to get that asterisk spot? You know? I'm not really sure.
We will have to wait for a calculation from production of the tournament here, but it's gonna be interesting to follow that.
Yeah, but what we do know is Barnwell definitely, goes ahead and jumps into the semifinals.
Barnwell.
Green Rain's going to have his second chance game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
you know.
Yeah. So Green Rain is gonna go for the second, the best of second place match. Very interesting to see how he'll follow up. I know we will talk to Barnwell in a minute now. Super excited to hear his thought about this. I'm sure he must be extremely satisfied with the result. So really looking forward. And to be honest, I mean, we underestimated the whole game. I saw the little game that he was playing, and you were keeping back to say that hey, he's doing actually pretty well. And you are absolutely 100% right. He was able to kind of score with all of his moves, mainly, and it paid off in the end.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, everyone did pretty well, like everyone scored good in a game that was so cutthroat. Everyone kind of had unique ways to score points. Mermaids, as we saw, they got a bunch of points from, a small footprint game, which is just scoring from their shipping abilities and their trading posts. And you had the Darklings, also another small footprint game. Witches were huge, nomads were huge. So everyone kind of did a little something different. So it was neat to see for sure.
Yeah, and we have, I remember at the end, yeah, all right.
Gotcha.
Um,
We have just heard that Rainier is out, meaning he did not have the best third place finish. So
yeah, so that's
not exactly
confirmed.
sure who.
So another,
Yeah, who would be the best then? Did you have that?
it's Zipcob, I'm pretty sure, right? It's from your game.
Zikob. That means I don't know what that means. Something about drinking. That's all I know.
All right, so I think I'll respect Rainier. I think he played a very good game. It was again a cutthroat game. He came very close to second place, but yeah, he's gonna have to come back next season. I mean, another early exit for the Fire 2 from him, and there's always next year. Right?
Hi, Barnwell.
That's what I'm telling me. All right, so we don't have yet Barnwell. It should not be prolonged before we got him. We have yeah, if I'm not mistaken, then on the final Claybo, you will be facing Barnwell. So it's gonna be interesting to have the occasion here to start measuring yourself. See if you read if he had the same reading than you on the position.
Well, I guess now we have Barnwell here, so I just want to say I'm glad that I could watch your game. That was an exciting game. Congratulations on the game. How'd you feel? Did you want to take a deep breath, or where are we at?
No, I feel good. I feel pretty calm right now, pretty chill. Yeah, it was a fun game. I like I like playing Tall Mermaids, I think, like kind of playing up rather than out if you can sometimes. And this seemed like a good game for it, just to ignore with one completely. And yeah, luckily I got the ship pass tile. Like that was pretty crucial at the end. Like if I didn't get that, I was done. But yeah, no, like once I got that, like I didn't know how I was gonna do at the end, but I knew I was gonna score pretty well at least.
Talk about an all-star move, not using your spade in the end of round 5, passing for the pass shipping. So at the time we're wondering, and that's often like I think a sign of the late players knowing not to try to min-max everything, and so it worked out very well in the end. I think that was definitely a highlight of the game. So congratulations on this. On the whole game, and also on this move, I think it was very, very well played.
Yeah, thanks. No, that spade was a decoy. I was never using that. I just was hoping. I was hoping people were gonna think I was gonna use it. I don't think anyone actually bid in it. Like I think Green who's gonna pass that next turn anyways.
That's so genius.
But I kind of I figured might as well go for it. But even the other things I did that round, I was pretty I think I sent a priest in the cold and built a temple, and I was a bit iffy on doing both those even because I knew how bad I need that tile.
You fooled us, at least. We were thinking you will do it.
No, I don't need that dwelling.
That's true. I mean, you played such a small game. You're still able to cash in on the network. Like, I mean, you can't expect that from the beginning of the game, but towards the end of the game, I mean, you're just probably licking your chops. I mean, that's really cool for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty lucky. I'm not sure why Green didn't connect at the end. Like, I was kind of just bonus points for me. I wasn't expecting. But like when I cut him off in the second round, I was kind of thinking I might be able to get some network points somewhere because I didn't know how his network was going to be. But as the game progressed, I didn't really see any reason to build a lot or to build out more. It just felt like natural to build up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. We were wondering, so before the game, we heard the group selection, and you were the target of a lot of trash talk from Rainier. How sweet is ending up taking up this group in the end?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Not only that, but I think I passed him in Elo now after I beat in this game. So doubly sweet. No, that feels pretty good. That was motivation. Not that I needed it, but that was bulletin board material for sure when he pick me out and trash me there in the group chat. So this is definitely a little revenge for that.
Ryan loves trashing players. Tell me about it.
So tell us about the decision at the beginning. You made big decision from your passing child, your first move. You decided to go for the pass shipping as your first move. Was that what you were thinking when you picked mermaids, that you are going for the double spade, whatever it takes?
Pretty well. Like as soon as witches took temp ship, I knew I was gonna take that because I wasn't gonna let them take the green hex above me. I don't know the indexes in the middle of the map. But I had that in mind. Yeah, I knew that was an option the whole time. And yeah, I wanted double spade early because I wanted to, the way the track was set up too, I wanted to build dwellings early, and I wasn't going to build them any later, so I wanted to get them out ASAP. So yeah, I prioritized that over anything else. Like I didn't think I needed Earth 1, so yeah, like it was in my mind the whole time, but as soon as witches took temp ship, I knew I was doing that.
Yeah, I mean, especially also being in a color sandwich, like it makes sense to prioritize your hexes as fast as possible because, you know, witches are outgunning for your hexes and darklings are definitely going to take all your north hexes if you let them. So I like the early expansion, and you even had some cool options to like take the priest and send it to water, and you were just like, I don't need that. Watch this. And then you just put on a TED talk. That was cool.
Thank you. That was a fun game.
Yeah, at what point did you feel, that's always something I wonder afterward, like at what point did you started to be confident? At what point did you think that I got this?
I mean, I didn't really know. It was hard to tell at the end. Maybe I'm not the greatest at calculating points at the end, so I knew it was pretty close. I didn't really know what was going to happen, and I thought Darklings were connected for a while, so I thought we were really close. So I was gonna say like right when I got the ship pass tile, I felt good, but I didn't feel that good to be honest. Even when I got that, so I didn't really have like one moment to be honest. I felt like that kind of throughout the whole.
I think we just lost Barnwall here. So he was saying that he wasn't. It's kind of comforting for me. Me and Claybo had a hard time figuring out how it will end in the end, and it seems that he was in the same position. It was so close in the end that it was really, really tough to gauge where things stand.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said when he woke up this morning at 8:30 in the morning, he knew he was going to win the game. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. I don't know, maybe I misinterpreted what he said, but yeah, definitely a fun game to watch. That was really solid from all four players, actually. Oh my gosh, he's back.
He's back, yeah. What were your thoughts? There was a very unusual thing on the placement at the beginning, so I don't think anyone was expecting that from the auction, that it will turn out this way. What was your thought after that? Did you feel that you were advantaged by it, or that it was playing against you?
I was definitely surprised. Yeah, I definitely did not expect it. I guess I felt pretty good about it because it looked like everyone else was kind of clogged up and like weren't gonna have an optimal game. At least certainly like witches are losing that. They're not towning up in that area. I think darklings were kind of trapped in there from Nomad starting there as well. So like it seemed like it kind of hurt the other players a bit. I was worried about them having a big leash party there though and me being out of that. But luckily that didn't happen. And so once that didn't happen, I think it was a good thing for me. But yeah, it was really weird. I've never seen that before, I don't think.
Yeah, we were all very surprised with that too.
Yeah, that is the first time I've seen that. But
right.
I believe that is the end of today's game. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Barnwell, I guess I'll be seeing you sometime soon in the future. I don't know the dates, but I know to never play you against March 3rd. I know to never play mermaids against you. So thank you for telling me that. Good to know.
All right.
That's great. I know. Watch out if you're playing fakiers too. So I'll be ready.
I don't think you have to watch out.
Definitely gonna be a game that I will want to watch. I'm sure that viewers will too. Congratulations again, Barnwell, for a very, very well played game. Extremely entertaining, very well played. And yes, looking forward for seeing you play in the semifinal.
Great. Thanks to both, and looking forward to hearing your commentary.
All
All
right.
right, take it easy, Barnawall.
See you guys.
Bye-bye. All right, and thanks a lot for our viewers. Thanks a lot to you, Claybo. It was a lot of fun to do that with you.
Dude, you too, Zoras. You're a beast. Real talk.
All right, so yeah, thanks a lot to everyone, and we will see you for our next game, which will be on Saturday, on next Saturday. So a lot of excitement again for that. And thanks for being there, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.